Learning more about how others make money can be of great help to you. The following are 9 classic and interesting business thinking patterns in the United States. 1. Give 2/3 of the land to the government. Smart businessmen. On a barren mountain 30 miles away from a city in the United States, the owner felt that it was useless to put it there, so he sold it at a very low price. After the new owner bought it, he came to the local government and said, "I have a piece of land. I want to donate it to the government for free, but I am an educationist, so this land can only be built into a university." If the government immediately agreed, he then donated 2/3 of the land to the government. Soon a rather large university stood on this barren land. Smart landowners built student apartments, restaurants, shopping malls, bars, cinemas, etc. on the remaining 1/3 of the land, forming a commercial street in front of the university. Soon, the loss of land was made up from the profits of the mall. 2. A group of small trees saved the hotel. There is a third-rate hotel in New York State. Business has not been very good. The shop owner has nothing to do but wait for the shop to close. Later, a friend of the owner pointed to a vacant lot behind the hotel and gave him an idea. The next day, the hotel posted an advertisement. "Dear customer, hello. There is an open space behind the mountain of our hotel specifically for travelers to plant commemorative trees. If you are interested, you may wish to plant 10 trees. Our shop will take pictures for you. And you can leave a wooden board on the tree with your name and planting date engraved on it. When you come to our store again, the small trees will be covered with branches and leaves. We only charge $200 for saplings in our store." They had immediately attracted many people, and the hotel was booming. Soon, the back mountain was lush and green, and tourists were enjoying walking in the woods. Those who plant their own trees are even more fond of the small trees they plant, and often make special trips to see them. A group of tourists planted some small trees, and a group of small trees brought back a group of repeat customers. Naturally, the hotel had more customers. 3. President and books. A publisher in the United States had many unsaleable books for a long time. They could not get rid of these books, so they sent a copy to the president and repeatedly sought his advice. The president was so busy that he had no time to dwell on it, so he replied nonchalantly, "This book is very good." The publisher advertised with great fanfare, "Now there are some books that Mr. President likes for sale." As a result, these slow-selling books were quickly sold out. Soon, the publisher couldn't sell another book, so he gave the president another copy. When the president was once bribed and tried to make fun of him, he said, "This book is terrible." When the publisher was ecstatic, he advertised and said, "Now there are books that the president doesn't like to sell." As a result, many people bought the books out of curiosity and the books were no longer in stock. The third time the publisher sent the book to the president, he accepted the lesson of the first two and refused to accept it. The publisher advertised, "The president's difficult book is now for sale," and it made a lot of money. 4. Harry, buy me a ticket to the circus and get me a free bag of peanuts. American propaganda wizard Harry worked as a child laborer in the circus. When he was 15 or 16, responsible for selling snacks in the circus. But every time there are fewer people go into the theater and fewer people buying food, especially drinks, few people are interested in them. One day, Harry had a sudden idea. In order to attract the audience, he gave each ticket buyer a bag of peanuts. But the boss strongly opposed his ridiculous idea. With his meager salary as a guarantee, Harry asked his boss to give it a try, promising that if he lost money, he would deduct it from his salary. If he made money, he would only take half. The boss reluctantly agreed. Then, after each circus performance, a volunteer will have an additional promotion. Come and see the circus, buy a ticket, and get a free bag of delicious peanuts. With Harry's constant shouting, the number of spectators was several times larger than usual. When the audience came in, Harry started selling drinks, and most of the audience bought a bottle when they were thirsty after eating peanuts. After such a circus performance, the turnover increased more than 10 times than usual. In fact, Harry added a small amount of salt to the fried peanuts, so that the peanuts taste better. The thirstier the audience is, the better the beverage business will naturally be. 5. The president made a lot of money after having a difficult childbirth. In the 54th presidential election held in the United States, candidates Bush and Gore received close to dozens of votes. However, the vote-counting procedures in Florida caused disputes between the two parties, resulting in the postponement of the election of the new president. The American company Noble Fiddler, which originally planned to issue presidential commemorative coins in the new millennium, faced the political crisis of the president's childbirth and had an idea to turn the crisis into a business opportunity and use the already prepared engravings of Bush and Gore to preemptively issue 4,000 coins pieces. The silver coin is made of pure silver, 3.5 inches in diameter, regardless of the front and back. One side has a portrait of George W. Bush and the other side has a portrait of Al Gore. The order price is $79 each. As a result, all the commemorative coins were ordered in just a few days. And the company made a huge profit by taking advantage of the president's difficult childbirth. 6. Egg in woman's hand. Morgan is a wealthy man in the United States. When he was young and came to the United States with his wife, he was still a pauper. To make a living, he and his wife opened a grocery store selling eggs. When Morgan sells eggs, customers often complain that his eggs are small. After a period of observation and summary, he asked his wife to sell eggs. As a result, not only did the customers not think the eggs were too small, but their impression and attitude towards Morgan also changed greatly. The reason is that Morgan's hands are big and thick, making the eggs look a bit small in comparison. The same egg is placed in the slender hand of a woman and the thick hand of a man. From the perspective of the buyer, the egg is not the same egg. 7. Helpful bad idea advertising. In order to expand its popularity, the Guest Sense trucking company in Texas, USA, once took great pains in advertising, but the effect was not good. Because for ordinary Americans who put entertainment and consumption first, such boring content as freight transportation is simply playing tricks on others. In desperation, they approached a friend in the press and asked him for advice. The source said ad content would ideally be designed to be relevant to Americans' daily lives. So, they thought of getting married, which is one of the most interesting things for ordinary people. Later, the company negotiated with a famous local newspaper and placed an advertisement in the top column of a report about a local couple traveling to get married. They spent 45,000 kilometers in love on their honeymoon in a truck. The day after the advertisement was published, a topic immediately spread among readers, who came up with the bad idea. The newlyweds spent their honeymoon on the truck. Who else is the Guest Sense Freight Company? Since then, the company has become famous and profitable. 8. A little farm girl who doesn't pan for gold, but only pants for water. The news of the discovery of gold mines in California in the 19th century caused millions of people to flock there to hunt for gold. Yammer, a 17-year-old farm girl, is also among them. For a time, the gold diggers in California were in dire need of water and life was difficult. Most people didn't find gold, and neither did little Yamul. But she was careful and discovered that there was water in the mountains in the distance. So she dug a diversion channel at the foot of the mountain and accumulated water into a pond. She put water into small wooden barrels and traveled more than 10 miles every day to sell water, doing a business without capital. Some of the gold diggers laughed at her for selling water instead of digging for gold, but she remained unmoved. Many years passed, and most of the gold diggers returned empty-handed. But Yaml received 67 million United States dollars and became one of the few rich people at the time. 9. Made millions salvaging golf balls. American Jim Reed accidentally discovered that golf balls would fall into the lake due to the players' mistakes. He had an idea and dived into the lake, but unexpectedly found thousands of golf balls at the bottom of the lake. So, he started salvaging. At first, he just did it by himself. Later, when more people were salvaging, he switched to buying these old balls, cleaning them, repainting them, and then packaging them for sale. Now, he owns his own golf ball recycling company, with a total revenue of more than $8 million a year. In all, we are not afraid of how big the problem is, but we are afraid that your thinking will not change. We are not afraid that you will not think of a solution, but we are afraid that you will not dare to realize it.